Hi and welcome to episode 6 of my knitting podcast. Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mathilde. I am a French beginner knitter and today is episode 6 of my knitting podcast. I've got 2 finished objects to show you, 3 whips and a few acquisitions. So it's been a while. I feel like it's been more than a month. I've been quite low energy lately, which we might get into at the end of the video. But yeah, I've just not been up to filming anything or even editing anything because I've got like 2 videos filmed but not edited, and I've just not had the energy to edit them. But I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so I thought it was time to actually film a knitting podcast because I feel like I've got so much progress to show you. And yeah, so let's just dive straight in. The first of my finished objects is one that should have been done a long time ago, but at least they are done now, and these are my Claudia gloves. This is a pattern by OrsaMakes over here on YouTube. As you can see, I've not weaved in some of the ends, but I mean, I've weaved in the ends, but I've just not cut them close because I've not actually blocked this yet. I've been wearing them, well, I've worn them a few times, like 3 or 4 times, but it's already too warm for me to actually wear these fingerless gloves. But it's really lovely. The yarns that I've used is a French hand-dyed yarn from Le Bruit des Aiguilles called Autumn is Falling, which is this speckled yarn with brown and red flecks. I've got quite a few grams left. I think I calculated and I've got 30 grams left from a, no, even more. I think I've got 50 grams left from a 100 grams skein. I don't remember. I'll put it on the screen. And I paired it with Alpaca one from Isager in the colorway E0 for that fluff that I really like. And these are really soft. I've made a pair towards the end of last year, which I gifted to a friend, and the only modification that I made with this was to add 2 more stitches that I then added to the thumb instead of this. So like when you separate for the thumb, I added those 2 extra stitches to this part rather than the hand. I've put everything in my Ravelry page if you're curious, and I've already talked about this in my last knitting podcast, so I won't bore you too much with that today. But these are done and I'm really happy with them, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with the skein that I have left, like the grams that I have left from my hand-dyed skein. I think I might use it to, like, for an accent for some socks or something. We'll see. I say that, but I'm not a sock knitter, I don't think, because I've got socks on my needles right now that I've cast on in like November, and I've still not finished them, not even the first one. So anyways, the second finished object of today is the one that I'm wearing, and it is my Monday sweater by Petite. Well, I'll get up and show you a little bit. I can't actually, but yeah, and then sorry, I've got the mic, but this is it. I really love it. Bear with me, it has not been blocked, and by that I mean it hasn't been wet blocked, but I have steamed blocked it. The reason for that is that my flat is really cold, and when I wet block my knits it takes ages for them to dry. For my fennel seed jacket I think it took a week to dry. Granted, it is a little bit thicker than this yarn combination, so this could take a bit less time, but I just want to wait until it's a little bit warmer outside, which I think spring is coming. Definitely, like today is sunny, which feels really, really nice because it hasn't been for the last 2 or 3 months. So I think I will be able to wet block this soon, hopefully. If you've seen my latest video, which is a week of knitting vlog, you'll know my struggles with this one. I finished it like 3 weeks ago, and I had made the body too short, so basically the ribbing ended here instead of here, so I unraveled everything up to around here, and then I added 8 centimeters of stockinette, and then the 9 centimeters of ribbing again. So that took me 2 weeks to do that. Unraveling the Italian bind-off took 3 whole nights. Took forever. Well, unraveling the bind-off and the rest up to the point where I wanted to add stitches, or not stitches, but stockinette, and then just doing all of those rounds again took ages. So that was quite frustrating for sure, but I'm really happy with the length now. And I think it was a really good decision on my part to do that right when I had finished it, because if I had waited, I just don't think I would have had the courage to do it. Next time, if I have to do something similar, I might use the sweater surgery technique, like when you put a lifeline in above where you want to cut, or like above where you want to add some stockinette or whatever pattern knitting techniques the pattern uses, and then above the ribbing, and then I would have cut it and then just added. Does that make sense? Like, I would have added a lifeline here and a lifeline right here, which obviously would have been like this. So I would have added lifeline here and just the first round of ribbing, for example, and just added the stockinette in between. I don't know if that makes sense, but you probably know what I'm talking about. I did know about that technique before I unraveled everything, but I just was too scared to do it. But now that I know how long it takes to actually undo the bind off and everything, I might definitely try it next time. We'll see. Hopefully there won't be a next time. There is one issue with this knit. It's not the pattern's fault. Actually, there's 2 issues. The first one is that I knit the ribbing on the sleeves not exactly the same length. This one is a bit longer. This one is, I think, shorter by 2 centimeters. That's obviously my own fault. It is actually a bit too much of a difference for me not to care. When I wear it, you can definitely see that it rises up uncomfortably. I'm hoping that when I wet block it, it will kind of fix itself, that the difference won't be as noticeable. But I'm not too hopeful, so I might go back and just undo the bind off. But this one is way shorter than the body, and then add 2 centimeters of ribbing, especially since I think the sleeves are a bit too short for me. I did try to make sure that they were long enough, but honestly it's really difficult to assess how long you want the stockinette to be before you start the ribbing, I feel like, because in my mind I always think the ribbing is going to take more place than it actually does, but you don't also want your sleeves to be too long. Anyways, so that's my Monday sweater. Oh no, the other mistake, sorry, is on the collar. I hadn't realized this when I first did it, but I think the color is a tiny bit twisted. So I don't know if you can tell, but I think so you basically, this sweater construction is you start by knitting the color, which you then fold into itself, bind off with the cast on edge, and then you just continue, or like sew it down. I don't think it's bind off, but you sew it down with the cast on edge, and then you just continue doing the raglan increases and everything. And I think when I sewed it down, I messed up the knit stitches and purl stitches or something like that, which I thought I hadn't, but I think I did. And also I feel like it's a tiny bit too short, even though I did it to the pattern's length recommendation. I'm obviously not going to redo that, because that would mean, I don't even know how you can do that when it's knit, when you start with the color, but it doesn't annoy me too much. I think the one thing that is a tiny bit annoying is that it's loosened up quite a bit already, so I just want to put an elastic in and it will be fine. But yeah, otherwise it's great. Let me get the yarn to show you actually. I'm not sure where I put the Merino, but I've got some silk mohair left. So this is Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the colorway Dusty Petroleum Blue. No, Deep Petroleum Blue, and I used the Merino that goes with it, also from Knitting for Olive. I think I've got like maybe 25 grams left of the Merino, something like that, but I've got one full skein of the mohair and I think a little bit more somewhere in the bag, not sure where I put that. But yeah, this yarn combination is absolutely stunning for me. It feels really soft, it's not itchy at all. Like, I'm wearing this next to skin and it's fine, and on Monday I wore it next to skin for the full day at work at the office, and the only thing that kind of was itchy towards the end of the day was because, again, I've not wet blocked this, so I've not cut my yarn really close, but I have weaved in my hands, but this was starting to bother me a little bit towards the end of the day, but that's it. And then this is my first hand knit sweater with mohair, so I'm really happy to say that I'm not, like, it doesn't itch me at all, which is great because I've got a lot of mohair, well, not a lot, but I've got some mohair in my stash and like that I'm using at the moment. So if I had been if I had found mohair intolerable, that would have been annoying, but great news, it's not. And I just thought it would be more warm than it is, or like warmer than it is for me. I'm very sensitive to the cold, and when, for example, I'm at the office, it's a very big open space with large ceilings, and so even with the heating on, it is really cold, and I thought this would for sure keep me warm. It is warm, but it's not like as warm as I thought it would be. But anyway, hopefully my next current whip, but soon to be finished object, will keep me warmer. So let's just talk about that one next. This is my sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. If you've seen my last knitting podcast, this is a lot of progress, because last time I was only on the back, I think, and I've done the body, the collar, and one sleeve, and I've just started the second sleeve this morning. I am absolutely obsessed with this. I think it is absolutely stunning. I'll put some b-rolls of me wearing it because I've got makeup on and this is white and I don't want to put makeup on this. But I am just so pleased with it. I love the texture. I can't wait to block it to see how it kind of blooms maybe. I'm really pleased with how the color turned out. I thought for sure I would mess that up for some reason, but I didn't. I don't think it is twisted or anything. This is a folded color, so you pick up stitches for the color. I think I'm saying color, like the color of this, but hopefully you understand that I mean this. So you pick up stitches and then you knit, I don't know, let's say 10 centimeters, and then you fold it down and bind off with the picked up edge. And I thought for sure I would do the same mistake as here, but I didn't. However, the one mistake that I did, and that was really trying not to do, is that it is a tiny bit tight. Thankfully, I can still put it over my head because if you've been here a while, you'll know that I have a hibernating whip. That is a Friday sleepover by Petite Knit. That's got a collar like this that you pick up and then fold down, or knit and then fold down. And I bound off too tightly and I can't put it over my head, and I've still got to fix that. So I knew that could happen, and I was careful not to do it here, but it's still a tiny bit tight. I think like I've tried it on like 4 or 5 times since, and like I think it's definitely loosening up a bit, so hopefully that will be fine. I'm sorry if the lighting changes because the lighting changes because the sun is behind some clouds now, but hopefully that's fine. The yarn that I'm using is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino and Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Cream. Again, I am absolutely in love with this combination. I think this is really soft. I've heard a lot of people lately talk about Heavy Merino by Knitting for Olive as being kind of not rough, but obviously not as soft as their Merino, which is true, but I feel like this combination with the mohair, just it is so squishy and lovely. I can't wait to actually wear this, and hopefully I will finish this second sleeve by the weekend, so that, well, this weekend, so that I actually can finally wear it. But I'm really pleased with this progress. Obviously this is knit on, the pattern says to knit it on 5mm needles. Because my tension is really tight, I'm knitting this on 5.5mm needles, and then using 5mm for the ribbing, and that is, let me check, US 9. 5.5mm is US 9, and then for the ribbing I'm guessing it's US 8 maybe. Sorry. So, do I have anything else to say about this? Actually, one thing I forgot to say. For my Monday sweater, the yarn that I used, and I'm now not counting, for example, this skein, because I didn't use it, so I'm counting every other skeins that I used. This cost me 70 euros, which is, I think, for me, a good price to pay for a jumper. Like, I think this would definitely be a sweater that I could, like, the price that I would be willing to pay in a shop. So I think it's a good price for me to pay, but obviously it is expensive, and you can definitely find alternatives for that type of garment. Was there anything else? I don't think so. Okay. This is the, oh yeah, the pattern is really easy to follow. Obviously, as you have all of these texture, it makes it really addictive because you want to go to the next like pattern or something. And yeah, oh yeah, the other thing is I think my row gauge might have been off, because in the pattern when she tells you for the sleeves instructions. So she tells you to knit up to a certain row because of the patterns. So basically it's only written instructions, there's no charts. And so because you have all of these textures every couple of rounds that are different depending on which round you are, she tells you to knit the sleeve up until like the 50th round, for example. That's not the correct number, just in case. And when I did that, I think I was around here maybe. And I tried, and I didn't have the centimeters like the length that she said you were supposed to be at when you reached that point. So I added, I think, 20 rounds, and then I started the ribbing, and I did the ribbing the recommended length, and that is a perfect length for me for the sleeve. Hopefully it won't, like, I don't mind if it grows a little bit, because I wouldn't mind it being a little bit longer, but I hope it won't be way too long. This is really difficult to know, because even if I make a swatch and wet block it, I feel like it's not always how it happens when you then wet block your garment. So let me know if you've had that issue before, because I'm a little bit worried, I'm not gonna lie. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is the beginning of round on the body, because I thought that was really interesting, because obviously of all of these like purl rounds and then purl like 1 by 1 rib rounds and everything, because when you're knitting in the round after you've joined for the body on the underarm, then she makes you do some kind of things. I don't want to say too much because it is a paid for pattern, to make sure that the beginning of round doesn't look too weird, and I think it looks really, really good. I think it could have looked maybe a little bit better if I was better at knitting, but I'm absolutely fine with how it is, and I think it still looks great, hopefully. So yeah, that's my hopefully next finished object, and I cannot wait. The next whip that I've got going on at the moment is in this project bag. I've not got that much to show you, I'm going to be honest. The sweater number 18 was my priority after I finished my Monday sweater, and I don't think this one is going to be my priority either, because it is quite a complex knit that I want to take my time to do, or to finish. But it is the Alder sweater by Rebecca Clow, and this is what I've got to show you. This is a mosaic knitting garment. So basically mosaic is when you use 2 colors, but you do 1 row in 1 color and then the second row in the other color, and then you never do 1 row with 2 colors. So it's a little bit less complex than other colorwork techniques, which is why I wanted to start with this, because I've never knit colorwork before, and I thought this would be a good way to like dive into a little bit more of a complex garment than just plain raglan or stockinette with like texture, knits and pearls. And I'm absolutely loving this. I don't remember if I had cast on last time, I don't think so. So I cast on, and you start by doing a couple of rounds of increases so that you have that neck shaping, like as if you're doing German short rows, but this wasn't German short rows, it was increases, and then you join in the round, and then you start doing the raglan increases. And I love those raglan increases, I think they look so good. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think my cable is starting to be a tiny bit too tiny, so I might have to switch that out soon. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think I might have trouble with the row gauge, Okay, so first of all, I'm not using the recommended needle size. She recommended 3.75 millimeter, and I am using 4 millimeter, which is, let me check, US 6. And my row gauge was way off. I think instead of 10 centimeters, it's maybe 5 centimeters. So I think I will definitely have to do more raglan increases than recommended. Hopefully I can figure that out. We shall see. But I'm really loving how it looks, and I am loving the yarn. So the yarn that I am using is the Rerum Natura, not Ulysse, Pénélope, in the colorway Orgeat for the white and Brume for the blue. And I think it looks really, really great. Actually, it's kind of funny because I always picture myself as someone loving warm-toned colors. But this is quite cool toned, and I hadn't realized until like a week ago. But I still really, really love it. I think this is a great color combo, and I cannot wait to see more of the sweater evolving. Because when I'm showing this to people who don't knit, they don't understand what they're looking at, what they're looking at, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I think that's all. Obviously, this is taking a while because basically this is a 4-row repeat, or 4-round repeat, and on one round you're increasing, and then on another round you're decreasing those. So you increase for the raglan, but you also increase for the pattern, and then on the next round you decrease the pattern increases but not the raglan increases, if that makes sense. And so it means that one round you have way more stitches than afterwards, but then so it feels like you're knitting a lot, but actually that progress can't really be seen, if that makes sense. So it's not frustrating because I feel like it's really addictive, because you kind of feel like, okay, I've done like one pattern repeat, like what if I do one more and then one more, and so you kind of want to do that. But one full pattern repeat, like the 4 rounds, now that the raglan increases have obviously grown, or that the number of stitches have grown, it is starting to take me a while to do those 4 rounds. So we'll see when I finish my sweater number 18, which I feel like I'm kind of prioritizing because spring is near and I want to be able to wear it at least a little bit before then. So I think once that's done, this can not become the number 1 priority, but you know, be a little bit more on my needles. And then the next whip that I want to show you is actually a new cast on for you, I think, and it's actually also acquisition. Is that right? I think so. So I'll show you first the yarn. This is pure Gynt by Sandnes Garn in the colorway Almond. This is 100% Norwegian wool, and the number of the colorway is 2511, just in case. This is a Petite knit colorway, and I am using it to knit up a storm sweater by Petite knit. This is how much progress I have so far. Excuse my ends that are not weaved in, but this is the back panel, which I've just finished, and I've started doing the arm increases, and I think now I should put my stitches on hold and start doing the shape, like pick up stitches for the front panels. So like first for the left shoulder and then the right shoulder and everything. I think that's where I'm at. I'm loving the texture. This is my first time using pure Gynt, which I like so far. I was a little bit disappointed with the colors, I'm not gonna lie. Not because I don't like it, but sometimes it looks a little bit pink toned, and I don't think it's the best against my skin. I've not looked at this like with this much fabric. I've only, like against my skin, I only looked at that when it was a swatch, so like maybe this amount. So it was kind of difficult to see if that suited me or not. I think it could suit me. Maybe. Let me know what you think. So, but I do still really like the color when it's not looking too pink. So hopefully it will be fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is a Petite pattern again. The pattern is clear to follow for now. This is my first time only using a chart for a knit, and so far I've had no issues. And because this is petite knit and my tension is really tight, I am using 4.5mm needles US 7 instead of 4mm needles US 6. And I think that's all I've got to say for now. I think this will become my priority maybe after my sweater number 18 is done, but we shall see. I don't mind having that many whips on the go as long as I have one that's like my main focus. But I'm not sure if that will be this one or my next cast on, we shall see. And I think that's all for my whips. Let me just check the time. Okay. So the next thing to talk about is yarn acquisitions. The first yarn acquisition that I have was my Gynt. I got 15 skeins of that for the storm sweater, and then at the same time I ordered yarn for the no frills cardigan, again by Petite. I know. But I really wanted to knit something that was a bit thinner, and I felt like the no frills cardigan was a good knit for spring because it's a bit light. It could be good for summer as well when it's a little bit colder. So yeah, I wanted to cast that on. So I ordered Tynn Gynt in the colorway 1002, or I think it's just called white, but I'm not sure. I ordered 10 skeins of this, I think, and I wanted to use my leftovers Alpaca one by Isager from my what's it called? Fennel seed jacket, sorry. And I also use one for, or like a few grams of this for my Claudia gloves. So I wanted to use this, which is 100% alpaca with the Tynn Gynt, which is, I didn't mention, but I think it is 100% Norwegian wool again. Because this is quite cheaper. Well, it's about the same price as a Mohair, but it is 400 meters for 50 grams, so it's a little bit cheaper in the long run, like quantity wise. And because this is a long cardigan, I wanted it to not be too expensive, so I wanted to pair this together, which could have worked. However, let me get my swatches, I forgot. So I swatched for this cardigan with these yarns. The first swatch that I made was using 4.5mm needles instead of 4mm needles because, again, I've got a tighter gauge than Petite Knit, so I usually have to size up. And this is what it gave me. First of all, this is too small. This isn't 10 by 10 centimeters. even though I sized up, and it is a bit too see-through for me. I feel like I don't mind when, for example, this is a tiny bit see-through, but because it is a dark color, I don't mind it. But I feel like for something white, it's a little bit, I don't love it. And also, this is a long cardigan, this is going to be quite heavy, and so I want it to be sturdy, and I thought that this wouldn't benefit from that. So I swatched with the recommended needle size, which is 4mm needles. I added some pearl bumps on the edges to make it a little bit bigger. First of all, this is exactly the same size. When you look at the stockinette, it is the same, like I've got 8 centimeters instead of 10 centimeters. So what's going on? And it is a little bit less see-through, but still a bit too much. So I'm not sure what to do. If you've got any suggestions for what I could do, should I size down even more? I was thinking, because I bought a few more skeins of this because I didn't have enough with my leftovers, so I bought 2 or 3 more. Maybe I could hold this double to make it a bit less see-through, and maybe I could size up a bit more. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do. So because I'm not sure, I'm putting this aside for now, and I will think about it a bit more before just diving into it and having to frog or something. So if you've got any ideas for that, I would really appreciate it. But also what I wanted to mention is that when I ordered these, so I ordered 10 of these and then I ordered 3 of these at the same time, and the shop owner misread the label for this. She thought I had ordered, actually I ordered 2. She thought I had ordered 2 of the Alpaca 2 by Isager, and so she sent me this instead. So this is Alpaca 2 by Isager, but it is a little bit thicker. This is 50% alpaca and 50% wool, and for 50 grams you've got 250 meters instead of the 400 meters for this. So I've got 2 of these, and when I told her her mistake, she sent me these back, but she didn't ask for this back because I think maybe it's a bit too much of a loss for her to pay me back to send it back. Does that make sense? So anyways, I've got these 2 for free basically. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them because I didn't plan on having them in my stash, and 2 of this is a little bit, maybe I could make a beanie, but otherwise I'm not sure what I could do with them. Maybe I should swatch with this and this maybe, but then I don't have enough of this for the long cardigan, and this is a bit more expensive I think than this, and it's 50% wool, so it would be way too thick, sorry. So I'm not sure. This is Easy Euro, by the way, same colorway as this, Easy Euro. Yeah, so I've got these 2 as well. I've got one more yarn acquisition, but I'm not going to show it to you because I purchased it while I was visiting some yarn shops in Paris, and so that yarn haul will be in that video. So I don't want to repeat myself too much, but yeah, I've got some yarn coming as well, which I was hoping to get today to show you, but I think it might come tomorrow or this weekend, which I'm really excited about, which I didn't plan on doing, but I fell in love with a design and I gave in. So it should be a whip next time on this podcast, and I think that's it. Hopefully I've not bored you too much and I've shown you things that you wanted to see. I've also got one more whip, actually, one thing that I cast on this week, but which is like because it is a spring knit, I would like to show it to you in my spring inspirations and plans video. So if that's something that you would like to see, let me know. If there's any, I don't know, type of videos that you would like to see, let me know as well. I've got a few ideas, but because my energy is a bit low, I'm, you know, taking it slow and doing videos that are really inspiring me rather than videos that I think you would maybe like to see. But if there's anything in particular that you would like to see, let me know. Let me know what you were knitting on or whatever you were doing while watching this podcast, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.